And he is one of the most disrespected players in all of the NBA. And we saw it this summer at the Olympics. We look back at that moment, and I understand the NBA. Yes, you want to promote LeBron, you want to promote Curry and Kevin
Right.
Durant. NBC is taking over the NBA's coverage next season, and that's the network the Olympics were on. They want to showcase all these the best players or who have been the best players the last decade. But how is Jason Tatum? Like after you see tonight's performances, how is he sitting on the bench in the Olympics, Steve
Yeah,
Kerr?
this
How
this
is
is
he
the
sitting
same
behind
guy.
Kevin
Although,
Durant?
and I do want to say this though. This Tatum, we are seeing, and I hate to play the opposite side here, because I agree with you, but I will say, in I think that whole thing needed to happen.
That could be
Tatum
true.
wasn't right. He wasn't. It felt like he was a little in his head, right? His shot wasn't there. I mean, the finals he played great, but it was just that shot. That shot, he couldn't figure that out. So I can see now. I think a couple months removed from it makes a little bit more sense to me. Right now, 0 minutes doesn't make sense to me, but it's like the Tatum we're seeing now is a much elevated and cleaner player than what I think we would have seen in the summer. I think he's cleaned up his game and kind of figured it out a little bit more post Olympics than he did entering the Olympics. That said, a man that scores 43 points, 16 rebounds, and 10 assists, right, should get minutes, get burn on that team. No doubt about it. No doubt
Well,
about it.
also too, like we'll mention this about Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum, can he really be a guy who's a role player? I mean,
Right.
he's never really been a role player. Even in his first year with the Celtics, yeah, he was kind of a role player. Marcus Morris was on that team, Kyrie Irving, Gordon Hayward went out with injury, of course, and that really elevated Tatum's role on that team to go and be a starter because initially Jason Tatum was going to be a bench player on the 17-18 Celtics. That's how the season started out. It was, oh, Jason Tatum, he's going to come off the bench. Gordon Hayward goes and gets hurt, and Jason Tatum is all of a sudden a starter. And from there, he wasn't exactly a star, but Brad Stevens, he wasn't shy about putting the ball in Jason Tatum's hands every once in a while as a rookie. Everybody knew on that team, especially Marcus Morris, who is, kind of the big brother on that team. Hopefully, you have no Kyries on the team anymore that take offense to that statement, of course. But he was kind of the big brother on that team, Marcus Morris, and he could tell anybody that Jason Tatum, he saw what was coming with Jason Tatum in the league, and what he saw was what came tonight: 43 points, 16 rebounds, 10 assists, and that's the type of player Jason Tatum is. He needs the ball in his hands, and if he's off to the side, he's maybe a little more marginalized, and that's when we see, oh, Jason Tatum, he's really getting after it on the defensive end of the floor. And Jason Tatum, that shot, what you're talking about in the Olympics, is if
Right.
he's standing in the corner, you got to be hitting those corner
You
threes
do. You do.
consistently off to catch and shoot. And he just wasn't quite doing that at the
Right.
time. Yet when the ball's in his hands, and that's really too disclaimer with the Olympics. LeBron wanted the ball in his hands. Steph Curry, of course, is kind of the player that can really play anywhere, but he was demanding the ball a lot on that team. There were other players such as Anthony Edwards, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant coming off the bench. They were demanding the ball. And when you're in a system like that, it's kind of hard to allocate who should be getting all of the touches. And Jason Tatum's role on that team, he didn't quite know how to fit that role because of the role he's been filling on the Celtics, which is the primary playmaker, the primary scorer, the primary guy on the offense for the Celtics, especially this season. Almost feels like after the Olympics, he even leaned more into who he truly is as a basketball player
Oh,
this
no
season.
doubt.
And that's really
No
what you're
doubt.
talking about, too, where he's flourished into this next level of Jason Tatum that
Right.
I don't, I mean, I think some of us expected maybe this could happen this season because of all the motivation that he gained over the summer and the disrespect the Celtics were shown as a championship team. But really, what he's done to start this season, we have never seen in his entire career. Normally, it's Jason Tatum starting a little bit slow in the season and then
Yep.
ramping up. I mean, this year, he really hasn't missed a beat at all. Maybe some of it is that Olympic run, was still playing basketball a little bit over the summer, but
Right.
he really has not taken a step back. And that's why he's in the MVP conversation so early and why he's going to continuously be in the MVP conversation. It's always that first part of the season that Jason Tatum just cannot quite get down. That's different this year.
We're gonna shift gears here. I do want to say one more thing though before I do. I've been impressed because last year, if I could be off here, but last year I believe he's opened up the gate out of the season scorching, right? For like the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And then he went cold through. I feel like the thing with Tatum, he has these monstrous months, right? Where you're like, oh my God, best player in the NBA. And then he goes through a shooting slump in prior years, right? Knock on wood. We are now 3 months into the NBA season, and it's been steady, right? It's like, here's the start. It's up, oh, right back to that start. We're good. We're good up. Oh, it's not going down. We've seen maybe 1 or 2 games this year, right, where Tatum doesn't have it. That's growth. That's progress. He's in year 8. We talk about that year 8 jump. You're starting to see that maturity from him. So I do think that's worth noting with Tatum too.
I want to add one more thing too.
Absolutely.
That's what propels him into the conversation of the MVP.
100%.
I mean,
yep.
like because if you have those down weeks or down months, that'll kill your MVP conversation. He's been in the MVP conversation in the past. It's just, oh, there goes Jayson Tatum for a week. There goes Jayson Tatum for a month. And that completely takes him out of the order. Yet this year, that's where you talk about that year 8 jump. If he's consistent the entirety of the season, that's when you can win MVP, because the most valuable player is not just the most valuable player this month or that month. It's every month for the entirety of the season. And that's where Jayson Tatum is right now.